Today, an extraordinary message has emerged from Medjugorje, the small village in Bosnia-Herzegovina that has served as a spiritual lighthouse for millions over the last 4 decades. This is not another general call to prayer. The visionary Mirjana Saldo has received a revelation that demands the attention of every soul on earth. The Virgin Mary appeared to her, not with her usual gentle smile, but with a face marked by deep maternal pain and yet, paradoxically, divine hope. She came to show exactly what is about to unfold. This is not theological speculation or symbolic interpretation. It is a clear, precise, and urgent warning. The Queen of Peace spoke of the days immediately preceding the Great Tribulation, that period prophesied for centuries in Scripture and announced with increasing intensity in recent heavenly messages. But this time, the tone has shifted. It is no longer a general invitation to convert. It is an announcement of imminence. Stay with us, because as our story unfolds, we will reveal the specific deadline heaven has set for these events to begin, a date much closer than you might think. As a small thank you for joining us today, we offer a moment of shared blessing. Comment with the word faith if you are open to receiving a special final thought dedicated to everyone participating. And please press like if you appreciate these moments. According to the revelation given to Mirjana, everything that has been foretold will begin to manifest before the end of the year 2025. We're talking about months, not years. The time for preparation is expiring, and humanity stands before an unprecedented spiritual crossroads. The Virgin showed the visionary precise scenes of what is coming. Confusion within the church. Spiritual wars fought in the quiet human hearts before spilling into the streets, and natural phenomena growing increasingly violent and inexplicable. Above all, she warned of a global deception that will wrap around consciences like a thick fog, and a crisis of faith so deep it will shake even those who believe they are standing firm. The message leaves no room for sugar-coated interpretations. What is coming is not merely a social or economic crisis. It is an existential test for every living soul. The world has reached its breaking point. The measure of sin is full, and while God's patience is infinite, His justice is about to intervene. The Blessed Mother spoke to Mirjana with a voice that was firm, yet filled with infinite compassion. It was a voice of a mother watching her children running toward a precipice, screaming with all her strength to stop them before it is too late. She revealed that the world has arrived at a breaking point. The measure of sin is full. God's patience is indeed infinite, but He is not indifferent. The time of mercy is giving way to the time of justice. However, we must understand this clearly. This is not punishment in the vindictive sense. It is a natural consequence. Humanity has collectively rejected the light, and now we must walk through the darkness we have generated. Mirjana recounts seeing terrifying images of what this looks like. Great cities descending into chaos. People wandering the streets with empty eyes, having lost all points of reference. She saw churches standing empty or worse, transformed into places of worldly worship where the spirit of the age reigns instead of the Spirit of God. The most chilling part of the revelation concerns a global deception. This lie is so well packaged that it appears to be the truth. It is seductive enough to deceive even the just. The Virgin explained that this deception will not primarily come from atheists or external enemies, but from within the very institutions meant to guard the faith. It will be a subtle betrayal, presented to the world as progress, inclusivity, and universal love. But in reality, it is the abolition of truth itself. The words of Christ are being reinterpreted until they are emptied of their power. The commandments are being redefined to fit human desires. As St. Paul prophesied to Timothy, "For there shall be a time when they will not endure sound doctrine, but according to their own desires, they will heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears," 2 Timothy 4 verse 3. We are seeing this unfold now. Those who dare to speak of absolute truth are marginalized, mocked, and silenced. But this spiritual disorder is not remaining contained within the human heart. The Virgin revealed that the physical world is about to react to the moral collapse of humanity. The earth itself is groaning under the weight of sin, and the signs Mirjana saw in the heavens and on the earth suggest that nature is no longer going to remain silent. Mirjana's vision extended far beyond the collapse of human institutions. It encompassed the very earth beneath our feet. She witnessed earthquakes striking in places that have never known a tremor, atmospheric phenomena that science cannot explain, and celestial disturbances that seem to be a direct communication to a distracted humanity. The Virgin Mary explained that creation itself is rebelling. The earth is groaning under the abuse it has suffered. Not merely ecological abuse, but spiritual abuse. Every sin committed by humanity leaves a footprint, not just on the soul, but on the very fabric of reality. Now, those wounds are so deep that the world is convulsing. This is not fear-mongering. It is spiritual cause and effect. As St. Paul wrote to the Romans, "For we know that every creature groaneth and travelleth in pain, even till now." Romans 8, verse 22. Nature is responding to moral disorder with physical disorder because, in the divine plan, everything is connected. Mirjana reported that the Blessed Mother wept as she revealed these scenes. Tears, not helplessness, but pure, burning love for every soul currently lost in this store. Yet, even in the face of this dramatic forecast, the Mother of God did not leave us without a map. She insisted with maternal urgency that it is not too late. Until the very last moment before the tribulation fully unfolds, salvation is possible, but it requires concrete action, not vague intentions. She provided a specific set of spiritual instructions to survive the coming days. First, she called for a living faith. The time for a cultural Christianity is over. Faith can no longer be a social habit or a Sunday obligation. It must be a fire that burns within, transforming every daily action into prayer. She called for constant dialogue with God, not just reciting formulas, but speaking to Him through our work, our rest, and our suffering. She also emphasized the critical necessity of fasting and confession. Fasting is a tool to assert the Spirit's dominion over the flesh, creating the interior space needed to receive grace. Confession is described not as an optional ritual, but as a weapon against the forces of deception. Only a purified soul can see through the fog of lies that is descending upon the world. Finally, she warned against attachment to the false securities of this age: money, success, fame, and fleeting pleasures. These idols promise happiness, but deliver only emptiness. She warned that those who remain clinging to these things will be dragged down when they collapse. And collapse they must, for they are built on sand. But there was one final, surprising instruction regarding where we must go when the world begins to burn. One of the most profound and surprising aspects of Mirjana's revelation concerns the widely discussed concept of the refuge. For years, many of the faithful have scoured biblical prophecies, imagining physical locations, secret bunkers in the wilderness or hidden valleys like Petra in Jordan, where they might hide to survive the coming persecution. But the Virgin Mary revealed something entirely different to Mirjana, correcting our human tendency to look for material solutions to spiritual problems. She explained that God has indeed prepared a refuge for His people, but it is not built of stone, concrete, or steel. It is a spiritual sanctuary, invisible to the eyes of the secular world, but blazing with light in the eyes of God. This refuge is the Immaculate Heart of Mary itself. It is accessible to anyone, anywhere, at any time, provided they consecrate themselves to her with total sincerity. If this message resonates deep within you, and you feel moved to affirm your faith right now, simply type "Amen" in the comments below. You do not need to sell your home and flee to the desert. You do not need to find a cave in the mountains. You need to enter that Immaculate Heart through prayer, devotion, and total entrustment. The message assures us that those who take refuge there will be protected, even if the world around them is descending into chaos. As the psalmist declares, God is our refuge and strength, a helper in troubles, which have found us exceedingly, Psalm 45, verse 2. However, the Blessed Mother was brutally honest about the nature of this protection. We must be mature in our faith to understand this. The protection is not necessarily physical immunity. She revealed that some of the faithful will indeed be called to martyrdom, and that ultimate sacrifice will be their greatest triumph. But the protection is guaranteed to be spiritual. No external force can steal your inner peace. No persecution can rob you of your assurance of salvation. She promised that during the Great Tribulation, she herself will walk beside her children, invisible but undeniably present, just as she stood beneath the cross of her Son. Those who invoke her will never be alone, but this journey will not be easy. We will face dark nights of the soul, where it may feel as though God has abandoned the world. In those moments, the temptation to despair will be overwhelming. To survive, we must remember the final part of Mirjana's vision, the glorious outcome that awaits us on the other side of the storm. Mirjana's testimony does not end in darkness. In fact, the most powerful part of her vision concerns what lies on the other side of the tribulation. She was shown the conclusion of the drama, and it is a scene of breathtaking glory. After the evil has done its worst, after the world has been shaken to its core and it seems that darkness has won, the script is flipped in an instant. The Blessed Mother revealed that Christ will return, and this time he will not come in the silence of a manger or the hiddenness of a Eucharist. He will return in visible, undeniable glory as King and Judge. The revelation is specific. This is not a metaphor. It is a reality that will shatter the illusions of the modern age. In that moment, everything will be overturned. Those who persecuted the just will face their judgment. Those who deceive souls with false doctrines will be unmasked before the eyes of the world. And those who worship power instead of God will finally understand the true depth of their spiritual poverty. But for those who resisted, for those who remained faithful even when they were mocked, despised, and considered crazy by the world, this will be the moment of ultimate vindication. They will be welcomed into the eternal kingdom, their wounds shining like badges of honor. As the book of Revelation promises, "And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and death shall be no more, nor mourning, nor crying, nor sorrow shall be any more, for the former things are passed away." Revelation 21, verse 4. The Virgin Mary made it clear to Mirjana that we are entering a time of definitive separation. The era of mixing good and evil is ending. The time for compromise in comfortable gray areas is over. We are facing a reality where every person must choose a side, and that choice will determine their eternal destiny. There will be no middle ground. There will be no neutral observers. You are either with Christ or you are against him. This is the raw, unvarnished reality that many in the church today are afraid to preach. But the Mother of God announces it with maternal clarity because she wants to save every single one of her children. She is stripping away the confusion so that we can see the stakes clearly. This message has provoked mixed reactions around the world. Some tremble, others mock. But as we will see in the next chapter, history shows us exactly what happens to those who ignore the warnings of heaven. Mirjana's message has provoked a sharp divide in reactions, just as the prophets did in ancient times. Some have received it with holy trembling, falling to their knees in prayer, aware of the gravity of the hour. Others have dismissed it as yet another doomsday prophecy, forgetting that the history of salvation is littered with warnings that were mocked right up until the moment they came true. Noah was ridiculed while he built the ark under a cloudless sky. Jeremiah was persecuted for predicting the fall of Jerusalem. The early Christians were considered fanatics for warning of the temple's destruction. Yet, in every single case, the warning was accurate, and the skeptics were swept away. To join our community and never miss an inspiring story, consider clicking like and subscribing to the channel. The Blessed Mother does not speak to terrify us. She speaks to prepare us. She is a mother, and a mother cannot watch her children walk blindly into a fire without screaming a warning. For the last 40 years, Medjugorje has not been a random series of events. It has been a divine school. The decades of weekly messages were a specific pedagogical plan designed to form a people ready for this specific moment. Those who have attended the School of Mary seriously now possess the tools to withstand the storm. Those who ignored it will find themselves frantically searching for shelter when the rain begins to fall. The timeline revealed to Mirjana is specific. The end of 2025 is a deadline that cannot be taken lightly. This does not necessarily mean the world ends on January 1st, 2026. Rather, it means that by that date, the gears of the tribulation will be fully in motion. The process will be irreversible. Think of it like a massive dam holding back a river. First, there are invisible stress fractures. Then, small leaks appear. Finally, there is a sudden, catastrophic collapse. We are currently in the phase of the widening cracks. Anyone with spiritual eyes can see them. The dissolution of moral values, the doctrinal confusion in the church, the worship of technology as a new god, and the silent but real persecution of those who defend the truth. These are not random problems. They are the groans of a dam about to burst. The Virgin Mary has asked Mirjana to release this message now, not to create panic, but to ignite conversion. She wants us to wake up from our spiritual coma. It is not enough to be baptized or to call yourself a Christian by tradition. The time is coming when you will need a faith that is personal, radical, and unshakable. As we move into the final chapter, we must ask ourselves, what does that kind of faith look like in practice, and how can we attain it before the clock runs out? It is no longer enough to attend church out of habit or to call oneself a Christian because of family tradition. We have entered a time that demands a personal, radical, and daily choice. You must be able to stand before the mirror and say, Lord, I believe in you, even if the whole world denies you. I will follow you, even if everyone else abandons me. This is the only kind of faith that will survive the tribulation, a faith that costs you something. But the Blessed Mother also revealed a profound source of hope. She promised that during these dark times, God will multiply his interventions. We will see apparitions, signs in the heavens, sudden conversions, and powerful miracles. He will not leave humanity without help. In fact, he will pour out extraordinary graces to strengthen the weak. Paradoxically, this tribulation is also an act of mercy. God is allowing evil to fully manifest so that souls can finally see it for what it truly is and reject it. As long as evil masks itself as good, people are deceived. But when the mask falls, the choice becomes clear. We must remember that fear is the enemy's primary weapon. If he can paralyze us with terror, he wins. But faith drives out fear. Mirjana concluded her account with a powerful image left to her by the Virgin, a brilliant dawn breaking after a very long night. She saw a purified earth, renewed like a garden after storm. She saw humanity reduced in number but holy, with hearts finally free from sin. She saw Christ reigning, not just in the silence of the Eucharist, but in visible glory. This is a destination. The tribulation is merely the birth pangs required to get there. It will be painful, yes, but it leads to life. We are the generation called to witness the climax of salvation history. The message from Medjugorje is not a death sentence. It is a final wake-up call. Everything will begin to unfold by the end of 2025. But for those who heed this warning, who strengthen their faith, and who take refuge in the Immaculate Heart, there is no need to fear. The time is short. The invitation is urgent. The stakes are infinite. Examine your conscience today and choose your side, for soon there will be no more time for hesitation. As we conclude on this message of ultimate hope and the promise of a new dawn, we invite you to declare your allegiance to the victor. Comment Jesus is King below to affirm this truth with us. And your journey doesn't have to stop here. Click on the video appearing on your screen now for another powerful message we prepare for you to help you stand firm in the days ahead.